Okay, today we're diving into a major change to Pakistan's constitution. It's called the 27th Amendment, and it's so significant it's basically rewriting the rules of who holds the real power in the country. Let's get right into it.
And look, to really get a sense of just how big this is, one source is calling it the biggest power shift in the country's political history. I mean, that's not a small statement. It really frames just how monumental these changes are.
All right, so power shift is a big term, right? But what does it actually look like on paper? Let's break down the key changes to see exactly what's been rewritten.
This slide is the perfect roadmap for what we're about to cover. We're talking about a completely new top military job, getting rid of an old one, a new command for the nuclear weapons, a brand new powerful court, and, this is a big one, legal protection for top generals. Honestly, any one of these would be a huge deal on its own.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting because you can see the restructuring laid out so clearly. The old system, it was run by the Joint Chiefs of Staff Committee. Under this new amendment, poof, it's abolished, gone. All military power, the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, is now pulled together under one unified command, led by a single constitutionally recognized leader, the Chief of Defense Forces.
And listen, this is absolutely critical. We're not just talking about conventional forces. A new National Strategic Command has been created, and its job is to oversee Pakistan's nuclear arsenal. And the key phrase here, under military influence. This formally puts the country's most powerful weapons under the military's control.
But it's not just the military that's being reshaped here. The amendment is also shaking up the judicial system. A whole new federal constitutional court is being created, and its entire purpose is to handle constitutional cases. Now, that used to be the job of the Supreme Court, so this move, well, it pretty much sidelines the country's highest court on these critical issues.
The amendment also introduces something pretty unheard of, legal immunity. So what does that mean? Well, simply put, it means you're free from being prosecuted. In this case, it means five-star generals cannot be tried in civilian courts for anything. They are, for all intents and purposes, above civilian law.
And this just shows you how personal and, well, permanent this is. We're not talking about a temporary shield. High-ranking officers like Field Marshal Asim Munir are being given their rank, all the perks that come with it, and this incredible legal immunity for life.
Okay, so we've covered the what, all the specific structural changes. Now let's pivot to maybe the most important part, the so what. Why does any of this matter, and what are the ripple effects far beyond Pakistan's own borders?
And really, this question gets right to the heart of it. You know, it's one thing for a military to have a lot of influence behind the scenes. That happens in a lot of places. But it's a whole other ballgame to actually rewrite the nation's founding document to guarantee that dominance. What happens then?
Well, those ripple effects are immediate. For a neighbor like India, the entire situation has changed overnight. They are now dealing with a Pakistani military that is more centralized, more assertive, and where one person has constitutional authority over every decision, right up to the nuclear ones. This chart just lays it out in the starkest terms possible, doesn't it? You can see the new balance of power, or imbalance. This amendment legally skyrockets the military's authority way above the civilian government's. It takes the existing power dynamic and carves it into constitutional stone.
So the crucial takeaway here is that this is not just a domestic political story, not by a long shot. When a nuclear-armed nation reconfigures its entire power structure this way, it doesn't just change its own politics, it fundamentally changes the security calculations for the entire region of South Asia.
And that leaves us with this final massive question that hangs over everything. By formally writing military power into the Constitution itself, what future is there for the very idea of civilian rule in Pakistan? That's the question this amendment leaves all of us with. Thanks for watching.